still there?
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome back. And apologies to you are in order, I would assume.
No, actually not. I feel like I've learned some things here, you know?
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm 70 years old, you know. You've been there and done that so much, it's a rare opportunity to actually learn something.
Yeah.
But you never stop. You never stop.
No, never stop.
I do enjoy learning. I listened to that young man's act, and I finally came to the conclusion he's a performer. He's a performance artiste. You know. So
Quite a performer.
He's working on his act. He's and yeah, and that's a sure sign. I mean, and I hope it's an act. I hope it's all that bipolar babble wasn't natural. But then again,
bipolar. Come on, Grandpa. Isn't that a little harsh?
No,
bipolar babble.
I'm telling you, this is pandemic. It's always been the case with artists, and a great deal of that natural creative ability comes from the manic high that is the part of the bipolar syndrome, and that's and you can't condemn it. I mean, my gosh, look at the great songs and all of the entertainment that we have enjoyed. It's been such an integral part of our life. I mean, who doesn't hear a song that doesn't make them remember when? Well, I mean, after your puberty and gone through all of that and kind of went through those phases, you know. But yeah, I still hear occasionally. I'll hear a song and oh man, that reminds me of Barb, you know, and yeah. I remember Barb, and I remember the great times we had, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So and I mean, look at and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to review the little bit of knowledge I have, you know, about the history of entertainment, particularly in America, that all of the performing artists who were picked up by a label and put into contract, and then it becomes a struggle for them, you know, and quite frankly, you'll end up in a very psychologically abusive relationship with the people that are putting up the money and wanting you to perform, you know, and nobody performs, you know, at those stellar levels all the time. So you walk in studio, you know, and how are you gonna get yourself high again? Well, we all know, you know. Next thing you know, you're taking the drugs so that you can psychologically condition yourself to that level of performance once again.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And I hope I really do, for this young man's sake. I really hope that it's an act. I hope he's working on an act like Henny Youngman, you know, who started the one-liner, you know, he started every one of his stand-ups, you know, take my wife, please, you know, and he's talking.
Please.
Yeah. Well, that was. I mean, the guy was wildly popular entertainer at one time, and he used his wife, you know, as a tool, you know, in his act, and he was constantly saying, well, he'd say, well, take my wife, you know, she did this, she did that, she did this, ha ha ha, you know, and take my wife, and it finally got to the point where all he had to do was stand up in front of the mic, look around, and say, take my wife, please, you know, and
please.
Yeah,
take her, please.
Yeah, and the audience would just start just rolling out in fits of laughter because they knew what to expect. They knew they were going to be entertained, and they knew this guy was funny. So he'd get up there behind the mic and do just about anything, you know, after a while, and everybody was rolling, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But there are different types of art and performing art, and particularly the stuff that appeals to the youth, you know. It's incredibly demanding, you know, and it needs to come off like it's just off the cuff, you know. It's like, you know, I'm just doing this, you know, and I'm cool, and I'm, you know, everything, and all the little girlies, you know, they talk out of their heads and all of that, you know.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
And hey, let's look at the king of rock and roll, Elvis, right? You know,
Right.
you know, he was the white boy that broke race, into the American culture.
Oh yeah.
And man, everybody wanted to kill him. It's like devil's music and so on and so forth. When he had half of the country, the young people, they all loved him because not only was it exotic race music, but it was rebellious. And the folks hated it. It really pissed them off. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this kid and I'm thinking, damn, I'm really getting pissed off. And he's doing exactly what he wants to do. He's a master. He's a master
indeed.
Yeah, I think, and I really have not embraced the rap genre. That's when I came in here, I didn't know what to expect. I just like to tramp around on Talk Shoe and drop in on shows, and quite frankly, it's very rare to come into a show that really gets me stimulated like this, because that kid got under my hide. It was like, what?
Really? Yeah, it's not often that we hear someone getting under Grandpa Rich's hide. So yeah, that's a little. You're stoically calm for the most part.
Anybody can get off, I mean, hate, like he was talking about hate. Hate is an immature emotion looking for the truth. And it's something we all suffer from. We never mature. We never grow up. And the idea that you got to honor your elders and all of that stuff. Well, not really, because they're the ones that were pretty integral in creating a great deal of the shit that everybody has to live with. So,
exactly.
Tit for tat, right? So anyhow, I'm just like I said,
mind blown.
Yeah, mind blowing. Yeah. And like I said, you get old, you've been there, you've done that, and everything's kind of a shoulder shrug. It's all exciting to the kids and the other people. It's some kind of a new thing, a new thing coming on and all like that. And I knew rap was a new thing, but I never appreciated the art until your show. I never really appreciated the art.
Really?
I gotta thank you. Yeah. Because I'm an old school guy, honestly.
Yeah.
I know gangsters. I still do, But then one of the old school gangsters, I was thinking, I know people that actually put on events and venues and things,
Yeah.
And they haven't really tapped into this rap thing, and the big deal now. The big thing is Burning Man. You got all of these overeducated liberal yuppies out there, and they want a little taste of the wild side. So and honestly, and I know it's a big laugh. You look at Burning Man, it's like, what a fucking cartoon, I mean, what is this? But they take it serious. And they get in there and they make their deals. There's a huge amount of business that happens during the money Burning Man, went out in the Black Rock, I mean that thing, I wouldn't even want to guess what the actual cash flow is during Burning Man. But the big thing now are little Burning Mans. Everybody wants to have a Burning Man. It's a big thing with the overeducated, uber wealthy snowflakes that have never really
snowflakes.
Well, yeah, they've never really. They want to get melted. They fantasize about being melted, So that's why they go. That's why they go to, and that's really these events, with the the heavy metal and all of that, the genres, a lot of these really wealthy people, that to them, heavy metal is the Goldie oldies, So I don't. Twisted Sister. You know the ones I'm talking about. Kiss, and even the ones the generation after that and the generation after that. You know, that's where these people that I'm talking about, that's where they're drawn, and that's your target demographic. You put one of these things on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I can see it now. I can appreciate the art, and I get a sense of what it's all about, and it's working the emotions. That's what it's all about. I mean, that people want their emotions worked. They want to have a little bit of the primal side of the psyche brought out and played with, which is exactly what this kid did to me tonight. So, like I said, and I mean this sincerely. I hope it's mostly an act, and if he does have these symptoms, he needs to recognize that they are progressive, and that needs to think about taking care of himself before and I'm not saying this is a case, okay, but before the before the delusions take his mind.
Delusions.
Well, he was talking about devils and feelings and not being able to have a good relationship with a woman and stuff. These are all classic symptoms.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm telling you. I hope it's an act for his sake. Because I looked at his picture, I looked at the YouTube and all of that, and I he's just a kid. He's just a kid, So
just a kid.
Yeah, and I know. It's the big thing is piss off the old folks as much as you can, and he did it. He's a bona fide artist in that respect,
Oh yeah,
and he's not ludicrous, but I think he's getting there. Ludicrous. I've seen Ludacris. I kind of got in on a conversation about him and with him and that sort of thing. Yeah, and the white boys rapping, that's a new thing too. Everybody wants to be gangsta.
Gangsta.
So, all the wannabes, East Coast, West Coast. Yeah, remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I grew up on the West Coast, so I had to hear quite a bit of East Coast, West Coast rivalry coming up. So,
but even so, but beneath all of the hype and all of the stuff that fills up the media, that media, and our entire media is nothing but a reality show. I mean, honest to God, you watch the news. It's the good guys and the bad guys and the bad guys and the good guys, and everybody's getting all excited, blah, 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 But it's all just reality TV because it's all controlled. Underneath, the people that are really in control of things, they're untouchable. They are truly too big to fail, and they're not going to. It's all a big plan. Everything's going according to plan, and we may not like what's coming, and I think a great deal of it is going to be terrifying for quite some time, but it has to happen. So,
Oh, indeed, it does. Now, Grandpa, I hate to cut you. Oh.
This is the big party. America's had its closing out sale. America's been sold. This is the closing out sale party. So, party on. I mean, have your fun, live life to the fullest, whatever. Anything goes,
Anything goes.